Welcome everybody as you're filtering in to the Innovators Showcase. We have 4 wonderful digital health technologies about to share their different tech solutions with you, and the esteemed panel that we have on for you today as well. And I'd like to introduce them. We have Nathan Sennheimer from Plug and Play, Frank Lichtenberg, who's a professor at Columbia Business School, and Tunde Akinyi-Ranye, I hope I said that right, Tunde, from 7wire Ventures. We'd love you to introduce yourselves, going from left to right. So Nathan, if you want to go first, give us a 60-second background on yourself, and we'll move to Frank and then Tunde.
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Nathan Sennheimer, and I lead U.S. healthcare partnerships at Plug and Play. At Plug and Play, we basically do, we're actually the world's largest innovation platform. And basically what we do is 3 things. The first is we connect the world's best startups to national and global corporations to bring new tech and solutions to market faster. Second thing is that we are early stage investors making about 200 investments across 18 different industries every single year. And lastly, we accelerate startups. And that's everything from me and Plug and Play. Thanks for having me today.
Wonderful. Wonderful to have you here, Nathan. Thank you. And Professor Frank Lichtenberg, over to you.
Yes, thank you. I'm Frank Lichtenberg. I am a professor at Columbia Business School, where I have taught for quite a few years. My specialty is health economics and biomedical innovation. I have performed many studies of the impact of biomedical innovation on longevity, disability, hospitalization, and other health outcomes. And I've done those studies of many countries. For example, recently I've done studies of Switzerland, Australia, New Zealand, and Korea. And happy to join you today.
Wonderful to have you on, Frank, as always. It's always great to get your insights. And last but certainly not least, Tunde from 7wire.
Thank you, Jerry, and good morning, everybody. My name is Tunde Akinyi-Ranye. I'm an investor at 7wire Ventures, a Chicago-based healthcare venture capital firm that's acutely focused on a thesis that we like to call the informed and connected health consumer. So truly what we're trying to do is support entrepreneurs who are supporting consumers and becoming stewards of their care journeys. What this looks like are technologies such as tech-enabled services, technologies that allow for self-engagement for the consumer, and increased education and access to providers. So really excited to be here with the rest of the group and to see some innovative companies.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful to have all 3 of you gentlemen on. If you're not familiar with how the format goes, we're going to have 4 different innovators present their digital health solutions. They'll each have 15 minutes in total, which will be presentation time and Q&A from both the panel and the audience if we have time. Since we are at 9:51, we're going to go over to Simal Ozen-Ermak, who is the CEO and co-founder for TB Health. I'm going to pass the virtual mic over to you, Simal, and you can get started when you are ready.
Thank you so much. And let me start sharing my screen. It's very nice to meet you all. And good morning. I'm in Pacific time. And it's very nice to meet you all right now. So I'm Shimal. I'm the CEO and co-founder of TB Health. We are developing platform solutions for perinatal mental health disorders. Imagine 4 of these moms here will develop an obstetric health complication, which will put them at risk for developing further health, relationship, and financial problems, cause developmental delays in their children, mental health problems in their partners, and also even put them at risk of dying from it. Sadly, you don't have to imagine, that's our reality. Currently, 1 in 5 expecting and new moms experience something called PMADs, which is the umbrella term for mood and anxiety disorders experienced during pregnancy and postpartum. And our current standard of care tries to handle this very big problem by running point-in-time mental health screenings. Now, if any of these screenings, if a mom is deemed as suicidal, they are put on a psychiatric hold and other suicide protocols are initiated. The problem is, if they're not suicidal at that particular points in time, regardless of the severity of their PMADs, pretty much nothing happens. There are no warm or cold handoffs, follow-ups, and there are even rarely discussions around their mental health needs. Not surprisingly, this leads that 3 in 4 women suffer from PMATs, either don't receive diagnosis on time or they don't have access to treatment on time. And PMATs are among the number 3 causes of maternal mortality. This doesn't have to be the case. With the right screening approach, PMATs are detectable. With the existing tools, they are treatable and manageable. And more importantly, by looking at the temporal changes in one's biomarkers, we can actually predict them and to a large degree prevent them to turn into severe conditions. We are on a path to achieve this, and here is our plan. We will start as a wellness platform that we will target moms and mental health care providers. By going direct to consumers, we will have access to large data sets of real-world data. And by also having providers on our platform, we will be able to label these cases, which we will use all of these data to develop and validate our predictive algorithms. Our goal is then turn this wellness platform into an FDA-cleared Class 2 software as a diagnostic clinical decision support device, and further develop it to turn into ultimately FDA-approved Class 2 advanced diagnostic device. And by doing that, we will remove the biggest barrier in access to health today by providing affordable, at scale, and accurate diagnosis of PMATs. So here's the first step on that goal. Our wellness platform, which is AI-powered and multi-sided, which we will be launching in September in California. PAGO will initially target moms who are pregnant or up to 1 year postpartum, their family members, and mental health care providers. So here's how it works. A mom will be able to subscribe to our platform without any barriers. And as soon as they do, we will start monitoring a variety of their health markers. We will utilize standardized intakes, which are currently the tools that are used for screening in clinics, so that we can benchmark our data, but we will be also collecting a variety of markers. Some of them we will be collecting passively through APIs and also connected devices. And some of the other markers, most of them currently, we will be collecting actively, which means that users will answer intakes that we push on their phones. And these intakes are extremely personalized at the question and answer level to their particular needs and particular conditions. In addition to these large intakes, we also embedded quick short intakes, which are designed to elicit response daily and even multiple times a day as high alert emotions or certain events trigger our patient population. And here, let me show you a very brief example of this. So here on the left side of your screen, you are seeing that one of our users is entering information on how they are feeling, and you can't hear, but they can voice record, which is very convenient for them, and which also means having voice data for us to be able to use for later development of digital biomarkers. And they go on to, enter information on particular event and, how they felt. So most of the intakes that we currently obtain are from primary users regarding how they are feeling or, their circumstances, including healthcare utilization. But we will be also collecting information from circle members who are close family and friends to the primary users on how they are doing. And this is also a brief example on that. This is a very critical information currently in clinic that clinicians are trying to rely on, but they are not able to because of all the logistics and all the barriers around reaching this very important information from peripheral family members. Because of time, I have to fast forward. So we collect all these data and we use this to identify an ongoing risk for 7 particular PMAT conditions. And depending on that, if things look normal, we give moms a normalcy check. If not, we navigate them to the appropriate resources. One of these resources is the marketplace on our platform, where users can very easily schedule one-on-one appointments or register for group events given by providers. And providers work as independent contractors, which means they are completely free to determine their own fee structure, particular events they want to give, their treatment modality, and whatever you can think of. And providers, in addition to expanding their reach, they will also have access to real-world data of their clients regarding how they are doing all those off sessions. And they will have access to accurate patient intakes and histories, and they will also have access to clinical decision support. And of course, by having providers and their clinical diagnosis on our platform, we will have labeled data, which we will be able to use for predictive algorithm development. So in phase 1, our focus is pregnant and up to 1 year postpartum moms. Among this group, we identify 2 likely customers that we will target. These are willing to and can afford a service such as ours. We have another group that we identified, which will be heavily subsidized, mostly free. And we want to reach this population as well, because we want to make sure that the models that we develop represent the population. And on the provider side, our initial target is mental health therapists that are specialized in perinatal mental health needs. In phase 1, our business model mostly relies on subscription fees and also revenue that is generated through the commissions that we charge on the events that take place on our platform. We had run a proof of concept study, which was probably one of the first digital remote studies in this space, which was a very small concept, a very small number study, but it provided us great insights in terms of feasibility and desirability for our solution. It also gave us some glimpses about the clinical efficacy. Our goal is to run much more large-scale research studies in the upcoming years. And we have also thus far surveyed a number of parents, medical providers, as well as therapists, and we believe we found the right product market fit with our current iteration. Our market opportunity in next 5 years. So I want to emphasize here that in year 5, we want to expand our reach beyond 1 year postpartum and pregnant moms. We want to serve people who are trying to conceive, people experiencing loss, as well as parents up to 4 years, which makes our TAM around 12 million users in US. And we plan to achieve 1 million of them by year 5. According to our estimations of revenues coming from subscriptions and commission fees, we are on a sustainable growth projection. The biggest differentiation of us from our competitors is we are really focusing on upstream and risk identification and prevention, whereas many of the big and also small players here are on the treatment side. Our team is currently small. We are 2 full-time co-founders. We have complementary skill sets, but more importantly, we also have a deep connection to the problem. I was one of those statistics that I mentioned 5 years ago. So this problem and finding solutions for it is very personal to me. And so far we have been bootstrapping. We plan to start fundraising in fall after our launch. And our goal will be to raise $2.5 million. We will use this funding to grow our team to develop and validate our predictive algorithms and eventually reach the FDA Class 2 clearance for our clinical decision support system. And this is the end of my presentation. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you very much, Shamal. So we'll open up for the last 2 or 3 minutes to questions from the judges. The panelists, I'm sorry.
Yes, I have a question. Mm-hmm. And that is about coverage. Have you talked to payers about this? Would health insurers be reimbursing patients for the subscription costs, and specifically Medicaid? Because I imagine that the most at-risk women are probably Medicaid patients.
Yes, thank you so much. Currently, depending on the state, 40 to 50% of women that we want to target is on Medicaid. So this is a really, really important point for us. And our goal is to go to payers and including Medicaid and also public health departments as soon as we can. In our initial discussions with them, we realized that they want to see more data. That's one of the reasons that we want to go to direct to consumer. as soon as we can so that we will be able to have this data. But that's, you're absolutely right. That's the biggest goal to achieve, hopefully in phase 2.
Thank you.
Thanks for the time, Small. Quick question here. So given you're taking a marketplace and independent contractor approach to staff your therapists and clinicians, how are you planning to ensure the clinicians on your platform adhere to the clinical standards that you are seeking them to adhere to, and adhere to kind of the general sentiment, general kind of care delivery approach that you're hoping them to?
Thank you so much. This is an absolutely one of the most critical points. So currently we are developing a vetting system, which doesn't just look at, backgrounds and, all the things that you can find on the, civil side of law and also regulatory aspects, but we will be also utilizing customer reviews and feedback. And we will be also looking at, other measures that we develop in terms of the outcome and performance measures. And also one of the things that I didn't mention, but in this field, there is also lots of variability in terms of how the therapies are conducted and how the treatments take place. So our goal is to really make sure that the users, their needs are well satisfied by looking at objective measures in terms of how they are doing after they started the therapy, and all of those out of session behavioral measures. We will have access to all of this information. And I apologize if you are hearing the kids are having a great time in the morning.
No worries. Thank you.
That's awesome. Thank you, Shamal. I think we have time for just one more question. If none of the panel have any questions, there is one from the audience.
Yeah, there's actually two from the audience. The one question I thought is interesting is, one from Dr. Asif Ali. Do you have any current CPT codes to charge Medicaid or Medicare or private insurance?
We don't, but this is, again, one of the most important things for us on our priority list to do.
No problem. And as a second question, another thing that I saw from the audience was, do you have any plans to adopt your model to other low and middle income countries where this is a huge unmet need? Or is it primarily focused on the United States at the moment?
We are starting with US and also California initially, but yes, our goal is to go international, and our patent application is also even designed for that.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, wonderful. Thank you, panel. Thank you, Shamal, for coming on and sharing To Be Health with us. I know there is one more question in the Q&A. Feel free to stick around on the panel and answer that via typing it out if you want, if you please, Shamal. And I'm going to now bring on Linda Nadell from SageLink. Linda, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
There you go. Fantastic. So Linda, I will allow you to share your screen and introduce yourself and Sage Health.
It does say you've disabled sharing. Maybe you have to click something else.
I apologize. Give me 1 second. We'll fix that in 5 seconds. There you go. So you should be able to share screen now, Linda.
Wonderful. My co-founder is here with me. One of my co-founders, Federico Campiotto. I'm not sure if he can be with me. If not, he's in the audience. And I will get started here. Okay. Thank you so much, Jerry, for having me and for the whole team at HITLAB. Really happy to be sharing what we're doing at SageLink with everybody today. My name is Linda. I am the CEO and co-founder of SageLink. And the big problem we're trying to tackle at SageLink is really loneliness and isolation in a tech-enabled world. We haven't really been able to figure out how to connect people in a meaningful way. And this is proven by the fact that we've never been more connected. However, loneliness is rising so fast, it's been deemed a public health crisis. And this was prior to COVID, and it's obviously been heightened since COVID. Oh, I'm sorry. So loneliness is a major problem for humans and the healthcare system. There's a myriad of studies showing the negative impacts of loneliness on health and the health system. 26% increase in mortality, specifically increased risk of dementia, heart disease, stroke, hospitalizations. Loneliness has been shown to be a predictor of early death, more so than obesity. And it's a $6.7 billion cost to Medicare in a recent study by AARP. It's hard to find meaningful connection. And so here are some statistics from interesting statistics that point to that fact. In a very large study of thousands of social media users, 92% still felt they could not find someone to talk to when they needed it. 66% of college students are lonely. Females are at higher risk of that. And in our own research, 89% of women lack someone to identify with when going through a life issue. So we took a deep dive into where the gaps are in current digital support options and social networks that are out there on the market. And we found three main gaps that are preventing people to access really valuable peer support in essence, which I'll get into in a moment. But the social networks that exist and support networks that exist lack privacy. So when someone wants to access peer support, there's a vulnerability that inhibits connection. Private Facebook groups, for example, are just, are not private. They're forum-based and forum-based. There's a superficiality to support that's digital, where if you post a question, a comment that someone gives you is not, there's no context behind that comment. There's no opportunity for a one-on-one exchange to ask questions, to hear what is the story behind this person that is commenting on my post, for example. And social media, as we all know, is breeding a special loneliness through its very superficial and two-dimensional nature. There is a fragmentation. So especially as women, and I'll go into why our target market is female in a moment, but as a woman, we need support one day in our career, the next day in terms of parenting, and the next day it may be infertility. And we are very beautifully complex. And right now the support communities and support networks that are in existence are very siloed. And so you have to go not only to different places for different genres of support and issue, but also different levels of support. And so at SageLink, we're incorporating a multi-level support where you can access not only peer support at our core, but also professional support. And that blending of support based on what your needs are at the moment is not in existence right now. So peer support is where we're trying to really solve this problem. It's a proven way to reduce isolation, boost mental well-being. There are enormous studies in the literature pointing to this and proving this, but it's really untapped. It's largely untapped in the digital support networks that exist for all of the reasons that I just mentioned. The scientific evidence behind peer support includes lower dopamine stress response, reduced stigma, reduced feelings of isolation and loneliness, and proven to improve mental health. So SageLink is curating meaningful support and connection on demand for people around the globe. We're truly a global network that is matching members based on shared life experiences. So we are facilitating real connections based on topics that are targeted, and also knowing that whatever it is that you're going through, someone else has been through it. And the story behind SageLink came to me when my cousin, who we grew up like sisters, was going through a really difficult marriage, a very unhealthy marriage. And no one in her circle, she was married very young. She was in a very small town. No one in her circle had been divorced. And so she was paralyzed in the guilt, fear, and stigma that comes along with that. And she was frozen. But she had one conversation with someone who had walked through that path and come out the other end. And that conversation was pivotal, but it took her years to have that conversation. And so sometimes these conversations that are incredibly valuable are by happenstance. So I wanted to utilize technology to remove the happenstance from these connections where you can feel a sense of belonging. You know, someone has walked that path that you're going through. They have insight, but also you're able to give value to a story and experience that you had. And so this reduction in isolation and loneliness really comes from both the person seeking support as well as the person sharing. And we've found that in our customer testimonials as well. And so really having a sense of purpose and giving value to the experience, the life experiences that you have. So there is a dual value here on this platform. And then again, incorporating peer and professional support in a targeted way based on a topic of interest, where we're bringing it all together in one platform. And the studies that we have on our customers so far really show that we are solving this and bringing meaningful connection into a tech-enabled platform. Women that thus far have connected on SageLink have shown a 70% reduction in feelings and loneliness and a 66% increase overall of feelings of well-being. Again, bringing together real conversations, authentic conversations, insight from experience, so that person to identify with, and the science of peer support. Our market is targeting females aged 30 to 60, and that is, we are open to all genders. However, we have found that a number of reasons to target females. One is that women are impacted more by mental health issues that are in existence as a result of loneliness. And most often that is due to their increased demands of caregiving. This leads to increased stress, anxiety, and isolation. COVID showed this to really heighten that for women. And a lot of studies have shown that the result of COVID really increasing that for women. And also that women are more likely to tap into peer support. There's 70% increase in women that tap into peer support options that have been studied more so than men. I think that is a stigma issue, and that may change, but for now, women tend to be more willing to share and help each other in this way. The markets are really blending for SageLink, a social and wellness market. And so, the markets merging, we're really tapping into an amalgam of the wellness market and social network and market. I have corporate here as well, because as I'll explain in a moment, we found a organic sort of need from organizations to have their own SageLink network for their communities. So our business model has a combination of B2B and B2C revenue streams. And as we showed our beta launch for SageLink, we heard a need not only from individuals, but organizations that they wanted to have a network for their own communities to connect in a more meaningful and targeted way. And through the way that we have our algorithm design that is private, matched, conversations all in app. And so we started developing a private model for SageLink, which we are contracting with organizations, most recently Columbia University. So our traction to date, we launched our beta product, and with that have 800 members from around 8 countries and 2,300 topics shared for the potential of 2,300 unique matches at this point. So our members really wanted to give back and show their support to others. And this was a really pivotal thing to prove through our platform. And the results were overwhelming. So on average, a member signs up to share about 4 to 5 different life experience topics. We have 6 partnerships and 2 paid contracts to date: Columbia University and Believe, Inspire, Grow, which is an organization that supports women breaking back into their careers after parenting. And again, our revenue model is a combination of B2B contracts and B2C. And the B2C revenue streams will be a freemium upgraded subscription, as well as the affiliate membership fee for professionals and a in-app booking fee, commission-based fee. And with that, our revenue projections for 5-year for annual revenue exceed around 25 million, and a profit of around 20 million with margins at 79%. Our team is growing so the idea for SageLink really sprouted wings during my MHA program at Columbia. And my professor, Asha Saxena, said, this idea really resonates with me and I want to help you bring this to market. And a couple classmates hopped on board and we went running with it. That was 3 years ago. And since then, I've brought on 2 incredible technical co-founders. Federico is here with me, and Akash Suryavanti joined. They both joined this year. And I have an incredible advisory board as well, with advisors spanning different components of the industry. And so this is our roadmap. Our milestones to date include, we were a mass challenge accelerator team. We've raised 80,000 in friends and family. We've built and launched a successful beta. Again, with 800 members, we've collected a ton of data. We had a Columbia Venture Competition win, and bringing on the 2 technical co-founders has been pivotal. We have now built our go-to-market product mobile app, which is right now just for private SageLink organizations. And we have the 2 paid contracts. Going forward, we hope to expand these contracts. I want to work with non-for-profit and for-profit organizations, starting in the US and then moving to global. We want to build an ambassador program. And then as we approach our 5-year model, really be that global platform that has multiple language capability and built into our product, and really be that network that builds a network of understanding around the globe for people to access that peer support and professional support on any topic that they like and need support with.
Unfortunately, we are at time, Linda.
I'm done.
We have
testimonials.
Sure, go ahead. Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Linda. We have time for one very, very quick question from the panel. If you guys have a quick 60-second question.
Sure, I can ask a question that came from the audience. So when you were looking at your age limits or the age parameters, you're looking at women from ages 30 to 60. Why are you limiting the age at 60 when seniors also exhibit high levels of loneliness?
Great question, and we're not limiting it. That's just our target is in that range based on our customer discovery, mainly because the elderly really, they're getting more tech savvy, but they aren't at the point where they're utilizing platforms like this as much. But it's a great question, and there is a major problem with the elderly and loneliness. And I think we do have some over 60 members, and they really find value in sharing their life experiences. And so it really is a bridge between generations.
Great, thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Linda, for coming on and giving us such a detailed overview on SageLink. I know we spoke a couple of months ago, and you gave me a couple of examples of where it was being used and stuff. So really fantastic to see it come this far, and really looking forward to see how you grow over the next couple of months and so forth. So yeah. Much. No, wonderful to have you on. Thank you very much. And with that, I'm going to bring on Ryan from Teleview. Ryan, thank you for coming on. I am going to relinquish the screen sharing duties to you, and you can get started when you are ready. Ryan, I think you're on mute if you were trying to talk.
Hi there. Thank you, Jerry. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Thank you, Jerry, and nice to meet the panelists and the fellow speakers. Ryan Rami, founder and CEO of TeleView, and here we're building an ecosystem of connected care using AR, VR, AI, and IoT devices. So let me share a story with you around the technology first. So Breesville is a town in northern Saskatchewan, which is a province in Canada. And this town has a population of 1,000. And if you Google this town, the first thing that comes on is an Esso gas station. So you know how small this town is. And beautiful city, one hospital, one ER. The closest ER next to this is 50 kilometers away or 30 miles away. The closest ambulance company is 40 kilometers away. And there's a patient in this city that has, or in this town, that has a severe anaphylaxis. So you can imagine how the parents of this patient, young patient, are nervous about receiving care for their young children. Lots of studies around lack of access in urban, rural versus urban areas. And I'm going to share you this study from University of St. Louis and Harvard Medical School, which shows rural areas have 40% higher preventable hospitalization as compared to urban. And mortality rate is also up by 23% compared to urban. And if you just have as little as one specialist visit to these communities per year, that's going to dramatically reduce those rates by 16%. So you're going to have less preventable hospitalization and less mortality rate. This is huge. Lots of data in CDC to support that. And again, this is not just a rural area. I brought up that example just to say that it's exacerbated in the rural areas, but urban areas are suffering from the same sort of effect. Unless you're living in a large city with access to healthcare right in your neighborhood. Now, if you go to Africa, this story gets even worse. You got 18 physicians per 100,000 patients, or population rather. And just to put this in perspective, sub-Saharan Africa has a similar population to Europe. And in Europe, we have 1.7 million physicians serving patients. So it's a huge discrepancy between the two. When we hear 30 under 30 in North America, we automatically think about something. But in Mozambique, what that means is there's less than 30 surgeons for more than 30 million people. So the lack of access to surgical skills or surgical procedures is killing more patients than HIV, TB, and malaria combined. So the solution is obvious here. We have to have some sort of virtual care, and the pandemic has obviously shown us that this is the way to go. Now, during the pandemic, everybody was creative. We used our tablets, we used our phones, we used our computers on a wheel. We used pretty much everything we could to bring care to the patient virtually without having to be in contact with them. But as you can imagine, this is not the right solution in a healthcare setting. You need your hands free, you need your hands clean, and showing a patient's ECG with a tablet in front of the screen is not the way to go. Now, some other companies have come to market with different ideas, like a robot here, or a station in the OR that allows you to visualize what's going on. But again, as you can see, real estate in these kind of settings is pretty prime, and you can't just occupy the room with expensive equipment that are cumbersome to move and really hard to navigate. So our focus has been on delivering a solution that is patient-centric, it's safe, it's effective, it's efficient, it's easy to access, and it provides timely care. And most importantly, is it's scalable, because equity in care comes with scale. You can't just have a solution that is expensive and limited to some centers around the world. So what we focused on is faster clinical decision-making and leading to improved outcomes. Along the line, we realized that there's reduced healthcare costs, there's improved efficiencies, there's patient satisfaction that has increased, and integration with other technologies that brings other opportunities. I also want to plug in the human integration, which is a very important factor. So integrating with technology is great, but unless the human side of things are integrated, it's not going to improve healthcare. So to that end, what we did was we used a different form factor. Instead of a handheld device, we're using smart glasses. Now, smart glasses, much like your smartphone, they have the same computing power. You wear it on your face, and best of all, your hands are free. So you got the power of that sort of computing power that you need to deliver technology without engaging your hand. Now, smart glasses, they all kind of share a similar sort of concept. They all have a little camera that sits right above the dominant eye. So when you're looking at the patient, it's as if you're looking at it through the camera with the smart glasses. So it's a point of vision feed as opposed to holding a device with your hand. It's a standalone device. Audio, video communication is all through this. You don't need a phone. It's a Wi-Fi cellular-based device. And most importantly, it has this little heads-up display, which allows the user to basically see what the other person is seeing and navigate the screen as well, and exchange information on that screen. So that's a good way and secure way of communicating information. This cartoon kind of explains it. You put the glasses on, you look at a patient or an object or a screen, the image gets transmitted over a secure cloud to anywhere in the world where the remote expert is sitting on a tablet, computer, or a phone, and they can communicate. The communication, audio-video communication is great, but it's beyond that, and we'll talk about it. In this example, you see the person with the paramedic in the ambulance. They're wearing the glasses, dealing with the patient. What they're looking at is projected on the AR screen of the glasses, which they can also see as a heads-up display, so they know what they're broadcasting. And that same screen also is used for exchanging information with the physician on the other side. Like I said, over a secure cloud, this goes to the other side of the world where the remote expert is sitting at a computer, tablet, or a laptop. Doesn't matter what computer you use, Mac or Windows, even Linux, it works. Which phone, Android, iOS, whatever operating system you're using, this is a compatible solution. So we call this the TeleVue IC platform, which is web-based, easy to use, easy to learn. And the software that goes on the glasses is TeleVue UC. So the concept is pretty straightforward. I see what you see. Now, any healthcare setting can utilize this technology. You've seen the ambulance example that I provided, home care, long-term care, surgical settings. We got lots of great examples, stories around that, emergency settings, clinical settings. Most importantly, if you think of it, the person needing expert advice can put the glasses on, and they can have somebody look over the shoulder remotely and provide the guidance that they need. Or the other way around, you have an expert that puts the glasses on, and they provide expertise to the larger audience by, for example, doing a novel procedure so others can learn from it. So this is a two-way communication tool that can be used by the expert and by the person needing expert advice. Lots of flexibility as far as connectivity goes. You can go one-to-one, one-to-many, many-to-one, few glasses with one expert, few experts with one glasses. You can have patients on a tablet with the clinician work with you as well. And you can have somebody broadcast it to a larger audience, like I said, for everybody to see it either individually or as part of a larger group. Having the glass view was great, but we didn't stop there. So we've now added multiple feeds to provide an immersive view, because being in the room is not just having a view of from the eyes. It's on. There's lots of screens in the healthcare setting, medical setting. There's other things in the environment that is important in the patient care, and you want to be able to capture all of those. So with screen view, we can capture any medical screen that is in the room. So you have ultrasound, X-ray, vital sign, anesthesiology machine, you name it. You can bring it into TeleVue as a feed. If you wanted to see what's going on in the room, you can employ cameras that are already existing in the room or add new cameras to have a holistic view of the room and what's going on in the medical setting or a clinical setting. With that, you can change the screen that you want to focus on, whether you want to talk to the remote expert, focus on the medical screen, or focus on the visual of the smart glasses. That's totally up to you, and you can interact with those screens. Similar settings in a surgical setting, you can change the view from one to another, and you can have multiple views as if you're in the room exactly there. Obviously, with video comes privacy concerns, and everybody's obviously talking about that. So we've basically solved for that by providing facial blurring using our AI algorithm. Our AI engine is called AI View, which not only runs algorithms like this, but it only provides us with other augmented reality functionalities that allows to enhance patient care. Now, lots of different use cases, and this is, like I said, applicable in many healthcare settings: acute care, EMS, long-term care home, proctorship, mentorship, wound care, medical education, biomedical services, and lots more. Like, as a small example, like inmate care, there's a lot of problem around that, and they don't have access to great care, and transporting them away from the facility is quite expensive. So there's a lot of information there that can be utilized. Now, I want to highlight a couple of things, whether you're in vacationing in Paris, or having dinner with your friends, or in a clinic in Toronto, or in a hospital in St. Mary's in Kitchener. You can actually use this technology to help patients. And these are some of the examples of how people are using this technology to help patients. This is being used across Canada, US, and internationally. Various hospitals, paramedic organizations, medtech companies, long-term care homes, private clinics, they're all using it. And we actually recently shipped 20 of these glasses to Ukraine. So they're going to be used in the war zone as well. So flexibility and practicality and ease of use, these are really important features of such technology. So I'm going to stop here, open it up for questions, and we can talk about the market size and other questions as you guys have questions. So I invite you to bring up your questions, and we're going to have a discussion.
Thank you, Ryan. Any questions from the panel?
Yes, excuse me. Yes, I have a question. As a health economist, I feel it's my duty to ask you about cost and cost effectiveness. You haven't talked at all about the financial aspects of your technology.
Absolutely. So the way we design, if you remember my first slide, we talked about efficacy both from an operational perspective and from a cost perspective. Just to give you an example, for example, a medtech company that is using our technology, their sort of business model was they spend more for one clinical specialist on parking costs compared to our technology per year. So it's going to cost you less than $5 grand a year to use this technology for any type of use case. Compared to a robot, for example, that costs you $150,000. That's going to limit you to a single patient or a single use case. So that's kind of in a nutshell how the business model works, and lots of cost saving have come with this.
Thank you.
Okay, we have time for one last quick question from the panel.
Sure, and thanks, Ryan, for the presentation. Congratulations on all the success thus far. Quick question here. So talk to me a bit about competitive differentiation. There are numerous smart glasses players out there, particularly for surgical procedures. So how is HITLAB different, and how are you building a competitive moat?
Absolutely. So a couple of things I want to highlight. First of all, I come from a healthcare background. I'm a medical physicist by profession, and with IT and expertise. So what I did with this software with my partner, which is also an AI expert, we actually put all the healthcare sort of bottlenecks that we had in mind with the 25 years of experience into this platform. So when we designed it, it was from ground up with healthcare in mind, as opposed to most of the competitors that are IT or sort of other use case companies that are kind of me too now, saying, oh, we have a solution for healthcare, which is not the same. Like the screen view that you saw, that's a very unique sort of feature that we have. In addition to that, we're utilizing AI in our platform, which is, again, a very important factor. Not a lot of these companies have that. And if they do, it's more on the operational side. We have AI on the clinical side. For example, for diabetic retinopathy, we have an algorithm that allows you to diagnose patients that are, or not diagnose, rather, refer patients to hospitals with 98.9% accuracy. Or for physio rehab and during knee surgery, we can actually have calculated range of motion using the same smart glasses that you saw. So there's a lot of AI behind the scene that goes on that differentiates us. In addition to that, it's the ecosystem that we're building. Remember on my first slide, I talked about an ecosystem. So it's not just the smart glasses. We have a remote patient monitoring platform that's cloud-based, which integrates with this. We have a future patch technology that is coming to the market, and it's going to integrate with the glasses as well. That kind of lends to the market, a hospital at home, and so forth and so on. So it's not just the smart glasses for surgical setting, it's smart glasses and the connected care ecosystem for any healthcare setting. That's kind of where we're going with this technology and how we differentiate it.
Very helpful. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, Ryan, for that presentation. I know we're a little bit behind on time, but thank you for sharing your insights. I know there's a couple of questions from the crowd, so please feel free to stay on, Ryan, and answer those via the chat. And I'm now going to bring on Sean Smith from One True Health to present his digital health solution. So take it away, Sean.
It still shows disabled screen sharing.
Okay, that's not on the agenda, but you should be able to share screen right now. There you
go. Okay. Trying one more time. Just a second. All right. Hopefully you can see my slides now. Let me move it into a show mode.
Yeah, we can. Perfect.
All right. Good morning. My name is Sean Smith. I'm the CEO of One True Health. We're a digital health company based in Austin, Texas, and we believe in putting patients in control over their medical data. You know, if I were to make a statement that your health is one of the most important aspects of your life, or the most important, I doubt that anyone would disagree with me. But the fact is, the information collected about your health is inaccurate, it's incomplete, and you don't own it. You know, I went to New York City visiting HITLAB earlier this week, and I went to an ATM on the street, and I was able to get a pretty accurate information on my financial health. But if I were to step out into that street and get hit by a bus, the physician in the emergency room taking care of me would have had no information on me with respect to my past medical encounters, my medication contraindications, or anything to be able to take care of me. And in this digital age, why is that? Well, here's how it does work. When we go for an inpatient encounter, as you see here on the screen, there's a physician that takes care of you and then documents care on your health into an electronic health record. You would have rights to that information. You can ask for it. You might get a stack of papers that are difficult to understand with difficult instructions, or you may get a kind of a cryptic portal that you can utilize. But it's even worse in the situation with COVID because a lot of people didn't see the patient or the practitioner during that time. Did you know that 40% of American seniors haven't seen a doctor in person or through telehealth since the start of COVID? So that means the information it is more relevant today to be able to be put into their hands so they can get healthy and to stay healthy. And you know, current electronic health record systems don't address that situation. They accurately and appropriately allow physicians to document care. They're not based or focused on empowering or engaging the patient. And we all know there's integration issues between electronic health record systems. They don't play well necessarily from an integration perspective. So there's a lot of inaccurate and duplicate data that results in unnecessary treatments and medical errors. The number 3 leading cause of death in the US are medication problems. Well, this is what we're solving here with One True Health. And we believe that giving patients control over their medical data saves lives and it saves money. We're first going to aggregate the data from all past care points and real-time health information. We'll use AI tools to extract clinical meaning and to present that in a meaningful way, the way a patient would understand it, not the way a practitioner would need to see it, and to give them a care plan on what they can do to get better. We believe in data sovereignty, that the patient ought to own their data and that they then can expose it with whomever they want and for their financial benefit. Well, if you're wondering how we came up with this idea of a personal health record and comprehensive care plan, it's based on our experience. This is my 4th healthcare startup, Dr. Buddy Owen's 4th, Jerry Scott's 7th. We have each designed, productized, and monetized multiple digital health applications. Mine was in the emergency medical, emergency management, and disaster logistics spaces. Dr. Buddy Owen was in emergency medicine applications and also in a certified electronic health record technology for long-term acute care. Jerry Scott was in laboratory information systems. He designed the Cloverleaf integration engine, the industry's first integration technology, and he also worked in clinical terminologies. So if you're looking for a team, an experienced team that knows how to build another application, we're right here. Well, let's look at our technology. It's about consolidation, presentation, action, and sharing. Consolidation from multiple data sources. We're going to grab information on all past encounters, primary care information, lab information, hospital data, health plan information, pharmacy information. We're also going to get it from wearables like I'm wearing today, remote patient monitoring devices, public health information, and the all-important social determinants of health for rural communities. But when you've gathered all that data, that's not good enough. We now have to process it. So we have to get rid of the duplications and the inaccuracies and patient match appropriately. Then we have to extract clinical meaning so we can present it in a way a patient can understand. And we use artificial intelligence, natural language processing, and machine learning technologies to do that. We put it then into a personal health record that's complete, accurate, up-to-date, authoritative, accessible, and easy to understand the way a patient would understand it. But that's not good enough just to tell them what it is that happened in the past. We also give them actionable insights on what to do to get healthy and to stay healthy. And that's in our comprehensive care plan. But still, we're not done there because oftentimes patients don't follow their care plans. So we have to have digital companions, people or technology that will come alongside the patient to give them actions and insights on how to get healthy. So that could be from a chatbot like you're seeing on the screen, or it could be more cognitive AI agents that we're working on right now in our technology. Give an example. So let's say that someone comes along, a digital companion comes alongside and says, did you walk 10 minutes today? And the patient would say, no, I didn't. Well, can you walk 10 minutes today? No, I have leg cramps. Well, do you need information on leg cramps? Do we need to connect you with a provider? These are the kinds of things that we need to do to help people stay onto their care plans, and we do within our technology. And finally, we believe that you should be able to securely share it with a Web 3.0 based architecture, distributed ledger, smart contracts, and eventually a tokenized health data marketplace. So we empower the patient with understandable and actionable information. And take a look at the screen on the right for all the details of how we do that. But it's a personal health record and a comprehensive care plan, cloud and mobile apps. And it's not only to help them to get healthy and to sustain healthy behaviors, but it's going to be easy to share with the care network being family members, caregivers, other practitioners. So imagine me, I'm part of the sandwich generation. I have a son still at college, and I have a parent that's 81 years old in assisted living. 9% of adult Americans are like that. What I wouldn't give for this technology to be able to take care of my mom and know exactly what's going on and to be active in her care plan. And these are kind of the issues that we address with our technology. Well, future innovation. We're going to evolve our technology platform to support membership medicine in the metaverse. Now, if we've already given a personal health record, a comprehensive care plan, we can share that through a tokenized health data marketplace for value exchange as individual health data being stored as fractional NFTs. What if we then use the metaverse as a communication and collaboration environment so people can meet with the nation's best practitioners who are sharing their research, their information, their expertise through their own NFTs, and they are also meeting in person with these individuals that need care. And what if we took it a step forward to support affinity groups? So imagine people that want to share information in a very secure and anonymized way through the metaverse. We can do that. Behavioral health is advancing right now with virtual reality and the metaverse for adolescents who are needing mental health and group therapy. If they join in the metaverse with the VR, with avatars representing themselves, they have the ability to, in an anonymous fashion, share more about their situation. They feel more free to do that. There's plenty of research on that. We think the metaverse is going to transform the way medicine is delivered. Now, granted, there's going to be some legal and regulatory issues. HIPAA's got to figure out everything it wants to about security of smart contracts and the metaverse itself. That's coming. But while we're getting there, we're going to be at the forefront of it with sovereign identity. You own your data. The system will learn as it goes along, federated learning, with smart contracts to secure it, health data marketplace for information exchange, and fractional NFTs for data storage. Well, our platform is designed, validated, and in development right now. We have a seasoned technical team at work, and we spent 15 months de-risking and validating our platform and the components of it. We finished off with what we call an MVP 0.5 that's available, but we're working on an MVP 1.0 that's in development. We have a built-in growth driver as an advantage, a sister company in chronic care management that provides chronic and acute disease management. And our patients in the sister company are going to be participating with a personal health record and a comprehensive care plan. We're focusing initially on the state of Texas. And of course, we have a very seasoned team that's been there, done that, and is doing it again. Well, we have strategic partnerships already. The Texas Organization of Rural and Community Hospitals selected us for a pilot program in Del Rio, Texas. Our care management company will be taking 250 diabetic patients, providing care over a series of 6 months and being able to take those outcomes documented within the personal health record and the comprehensive care plan. And we'll present that to their annual conference in front of 160 hospitals in 6 months' time. HASA is the largest health information exchange in the state of Texas, 57 hospitals over 82 counties. They are a reseller of our clinical services and our technology. And they believe that their clinics or hospitals are having trouble engaging their patients, and that a personal health record and a comprehensive care plan can be a way to bring them back in appropriately into the health system rather than hair on fire into the emergency room. We love these organizations because they serve rural communities. And lower income seniors and seniors of color have a disproportionate access to care and actionable information on how to get healthy. And that's what we're focused on: social impact, reducing the causes of death and disability, and providing the information that patients need. If you're familiar with TOMS, the organization where you buy a pair of shoes, they give one to an underserved person. We do the same thing with our software. If you license our technology, we provide a free license to someone in an underserved community. Well, we have multiple B2B and B2C revenue models. We're collecting the data, certainly subscription basis for consumers, but then there's value exchange that we participate in the revenue on when they share that with the folks on the right-hand side of the screen. They can engage their family, they can engage practitioners, researchers for studies, employers for negotiating insurance, pharma for validating trials, manufacturers for proving the efficacy of their products. Lots of ways when we exchange information for value for a patient-owned system that we'll participate in as a facilitator of that data. Well, we are in a seed round right now. We're raising $3 million for platform development, productization, testing, and delivery, mostly on software development, some on sales and marketing. And we also have the possibility of an RPM acquisition that might bring us up a little bit higher than that $3 million round. If you're a venture capital or angel investor interested in hearing more, we'd be honored to speak with you and to provide information via Performa and financials. So our innovation is giving patients control over their medical data. Innovation that informs patients and their care network. It fosters and sustains healthy behaviors. It's focused on what a patient needs to get healthy and to stay healthy. We have health IT founders with multiple successful exits. We've been there and done that in digital health. And we want to empower and inform the consumers. We want to provide access and impact for lower income seniors and seniors of color. So we hope that you partner with us, and thank you for the opportunity to present our technology today.
Thank you very much, Sean. Really got us back on track effectively. We have time for 1 or 2 questions from the panel before we have to move on.
Sure, happy to ask a question, Sean. Thank you for the presentation, and congrats on the early traction with what you're doing down in Del Rio in Texas. What are some other milestones that you're trying to accomplish in the next 6 to 12 months, traction-wise, outside of the raise? What other partnerships are you seeking?
Well, that's a great question. So we're seeking partnerships with clinical research organizations. We believe that we can bring a lot of value now. It's been difficult in the virtual area to do virtual clinical trials. We think as we move along that we can engage patients, especially with our digital companion, and help them to participate in trials. We're also looking at, again, partnerships with health information exchanges. There's been a lot, they've been focused on providing data on patients for practitioners, but literally with the great resignation, clinical practices and hospitals are having trouble engaging those patients. So we see there's going to be more than just HASA. There are health information exchanges in every state in the US, and we believe that they will be partnering with us to engage their constituents, patients, to bring them back into the health system in a meaningful way.
Great, thank you.
Hey, Sean, one quick question. You're speaking my language on the data side. Just curious, from the payer, the providers, and things are really broken these days, with EHRs and patient portals, and it's being talked about, and patients having a hard time on the one side connecting, to care. The other side, it's the data, and it's, personal, because I, had experience with one of the first health clouds, before they even named it, with a lot of the blues. So here we sit today, data and interoperability, all those fancy words, and I still come back to connected. How are you guys? Are you talking these crazy, payer landscapes, the big health plans? Where's your goal? Because you clearly have a great plan. So congratulations.
Thank you, Fred. And it's an honor to be able to serve back to the communities. And again, we're excited about Torch and HASA because they're serving rural communities, and rural health is really hurting right now in terms of patient engagement. And that gets us into the insurers, because in a lot of cases, they are hyper-focused now, especially with rural communities, on at-risk populations. And that's in our sweet spot with respect to being able to engage them, not only for our care management company, but also through technology to make services that we're delivering for chronic and acute disease management to be very sticky, and to have the patients to be able to understand through the digital companion what they're doing and the instructions that their practitioners are giving them to be able to get more healthy. And that keeps them out, again, here on fire in the emergency room, which the insurers love. So it's kind of a trifecta there between the practitioners and ourselves with the technology, and the insurers being able to back that for at-risk populations. And we're seeing evidence and trends of that already.
Great, thank you.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you for that last question, Fred. Sean, thank you so much for being on. I know we did run a little bit late. I do have to get over to my next panel with Donato Triamuto, but I do really want to thank all of the panel for being on. Tunde from 7wire Ventures, Frank from CBS or Columbia Business School, and Nathan, of course, from Plug and Play, and all 4 of our wonderful digital health solutions that presented today, Ryan, Sean, Shamal, and Linda. There will be 4 more later on, guys, at 4:30. So make sure to tune in then. And also Sean will also be on a panel later on talking about virtual care. And Shamal will actually be on the Women's Health Tech Hour. So stick around to hear more from some of these folks. I do welcome everybody to go and join the general networking room in the lobby, where again, I'd invite the 4 solutions here to also go and network with folks that may want to hear more. So thank you very much, everybody. Wonderful session, and we'll see you in the rest of the summit.